Hi there, generators. Thanks for joining me for your intuitive reading. If you're new to the channel, I do my readings based on the 5 human design types. I use tarot, oracle cards, and sometimes runes. My readings are non-date specific, so if it resonates with you at the time, then it's your reading. All right, let's get started. So, first card that came out here is the Singer of Initiation. 7 is a very spiritual number, so this could be being initiated to something. I mean, it just feels very cosmic. Maybe paying more attention, like currently, maybe you're paying attention more to your dreams, just thoughts or visions that come to you, images, songs, lyrics, anything that you're picking up on, really watching carefully and starting to think about what are the advantages and disadvantages of staying where you are. You know, if you've felt really stuck, what are the advantages of staying exactly where you are and doing nothing different? And what are the advantages of really exploring something new, taking some baby steps? There is this feeling that this is sort of a catalyst for change for you. Like it's time to make some sort of move. If this is about, you know, it can seem superficial, but I think it's more about your soul's journey, you know. The next 2 cards out here, we have the King of Vessels, Heron, and the Page of Bows, Stoat. So as I'm looking at both of these, one thing I notice, you've got a bird here that's on 2 legs, and he's standing on one, you know? There is this balance. He's, you know, not wavering at all, just like perfectly still. And you know, like they could be in the same forest and this stoat is looking at the heron, noticing how perfectly balanced and still. It's almost like he is a 4-legged creature, but he's trying to mimic, you know, one paw up, you know, or, you know, you're walking along on this branch and then you hear something and you sort of raise that paw. There is sort of whatever is going on, it's this watchfulness. Like, and maybe you've seen somebody, this almost feels to me like observing something outside of yourself. And this can relate to, Heron can relate to creativity and sort of birthing something new. But when it comes to creativity, the image that came to me was years ago, Tilda Swinton was in a installation at MoMA where she slept inside a glass box and people could come in and watch her. That's sort of like, you know, like you've seen something that sort of piqued your interest and you're watching really carefully to see what happens, to see like, you know, it's like an art exhibit or maybe you meet like a teacher or a healer or somebody, or an artist or an athlete that does something that you're like, it, it leaves an impression on you, and you're almost trying to like, I don't know exactly where this is going. It's just like, yeah, it feels like this relationship of like a mentor, like some sort of support or mentor, you know, this balanced being, this balanced, supportive, like it's so aware of its surroundings and everything going on, and still in the middle of all of that, that it's really inspiring to you. It's showing you the way. I believe that, you know, this is sort of the state that you've been in of protection. Not just that we've been in isolation, not just that we've maybe sheltered in place at this time. Most of us have for some amount of time, but it's almost like the external started impacting the internal. It was like as the walls were closing in on the outside, it started constricting you from the inside. Like it feels really uncomfortable, you know? And so you're kind of in the dark here, trying to figure out what's going on. Like trying to get somewhere, but it's hard to see. The conditions are not ideal. This is kind of what you're moving away from. This is where you've been. It was like everything external was affecting your internal. So you weren't operating at your best. And this is you, like, as you're being initiated, this is you coming back out, emerging, rising, unearthing, tapping into this unconscious power and wisdom, maybe even creating new habits, maybe even a new ritual to bring in something for you, or to have that mindfulness and intention of what you're bringing in, instead of feeling like it has been inflicted upon you. The next card out here is She the Cruach. To me, I'm just like seeing this sort of fiery bowl, almost like a chalice. It's like full and overflowing. There's light coming out everywhere. This is you moving towards being more open to receiving. Not just receiving like material things or ideas or opportunities, but receiving information from elsewhere, from spirit, from your higher self, synchronicities, messages, things like that. It's like you're finally starting to pay attention. This sort of snapped you out of it, like it woke you up. And now you can start being open to receiving. That love and grace are always ours. They are always, we can always receive those. They just have to have our acceptance, acknowledgement and acceptance. So you're just like coming out of the darkness and the haze and this like box that you've been in, and suddenly it's like open and filled with light. Look at all that light everywhere. Next card out here is the shaman. Shaman is usually, you know, really tapping into that you know, that spiritual place, those traditions, those rituals, those things that keep you mindful, that keep you focused on your intent, that keep you connected to nature, the earth. It's like coming out of this darkness, coming out of this contracted state. It's like you're hooked back up. Like you have the opportunity to receive so much more. Like you have a larger bandwidth than you realized, you know? It's almost like it's like you were operating thinking that you had dial-up internet, and, you know, your images would just like slowly appear and messages were delayed, emails were delayed, everything took so long, videos would buffer, but you didn't realize that you had like high-speed Fios, whatever, like you had so much more going on that you could receive, but it's almost like your circumstances, you started buying into your circumstances and believing that everything was smaller and closing in more and more than it was. So you're just starting now. You're just starting now to realize that you can tap into more. But you're sort of, you know, it's really funny looking at all three of these characters. There is this real stillness, watchfulness. It's observant. They're all in the same habitat. It's really, I mean, this is a deck that takes place in the forest, so I guess that's not terribly surprising. But, you know, there is this sort of awareness, like a new awareness, a new concentration and focus, maybe a new commitment, a new dedication. Like moving forward, you're not allowing yourself to go back to this state, you know? Like these archetypes, these people, these are hooked up, you know? They're open, they're receiving, that's what you're moving towards, you know? You're finally understanding that you have more options, more potential, more power than you were letting yourself believe before. So I hope you enjoyed your message, and let me know if it resonates with you. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.